What's up, everyone? Before I get into the main intro and all that kind of stuff, I want to give a big shout out for one of the community members out there. He's in a rough spot right now, and it's Xbox Addict. He's in the hospital. He was in critical condition. I don't really know where he's at right now, as far as like if he's at a critical condition and all that kind of stuff. So if anybody in the chat knows anything, please let us know. But a big shout out, all our hopes and prayers and best wishes all go out to him and his family and all that kind of stuff. So whatever side of the console war you might be on, dump that shit right now. Go give him some tweets and some heys, how you doing and all that kind of stuff, man. It's really important.
Also want to throw out to one of our actually big time supporters, Cyber. I saw your post that your son's actually doing much better in the hospital and stuff too. So
yep.
Huge shout out to you and your family. I hope all of you guys, anyone who's got loved ones in the hospital right now, Xbox Pope, his wife actually just got good news and just got out of the hospital. So, huge shout out to all of you guys, and our hearts go out to all of you guys. So
absolutely. All right, let's go ahead and get the show on the road. What's up, all you awesome gamers? I'm the Governor, one of the hosts of this fantastic podcast called The Console Corner, your number one source for all things gaming. If this is your first time listening to the show, we dive deep into the gaming industry, news, games, and everything in between.
Oh, so deep. That's like the first week you ever said that.
I know, dude. I try to change it up a little bit. I'm glad that you stepped in, though. That was awesome. Tonight's going to be a great show, but first let's introduce the rest of our hosts for the Console Corner. First up, we have She-Wolf.
Yo, people.
She hates Mixer, by the way. Next up, we have...
Partnership has been revoked.
I know, right?
Next up, we have Magic Mike. How's it going, dude?
Yo, what's up, everybody?
Next up, we have Brutal. What's going on, man?
What up, man? Hey, everybody out there in Chat's land.
Nice. Destro, where the fuck you at, bro? Tired of this shit.
No, 2 weeks in a row. That's
2 weeks, bro.
That's grounds for termination.
His team better be going a little.
No, we gotta get rid of him, bro.
He's fighting that little league battle
Destro,
right
if
now.
you're watching this right now, bro, I hope you get kicked off the show.
He's gonna show up in the chat.
He's
be
like,
you can't throw me off. I quit.
Right. And next up we have Sith. How's it going, dude?
Oh, good. Hey, hello, everyone. Yeah, it's a good start.
That was very,
I love Sith. He's so good. All right, before we get into the topics, we work hard to bring you the Console Corner. Oh my God, bro.
All right, I'm sorry. I'm done. Let GKV have his moment.
Oh my God. Make sure you subscribe and hit that bell icon so you know when we go live. Also, if you like what we do, consider supporting us over on Patreon at patreon.com/Console Corner. Super Chat is also available if you want to support us there. All right. Make sure you drop us your questions and all that stuff, and we'll get to some of them at the end of the show. But let's go into my favorite topic, what we've been playing the last week. Sith, what you been up to, man?
Hellblade.
Oh, nice.
Good game. And Star Citizen.
Ooh, nice.
And I think that, of course, CSGO. Get
Ooh.
my ass whooped, as always, sometimes.
Sith, do you ever stream, bro?
No.
When you're playing? No. All right.
I should, maybe.
I don't want to watch you anyways.
I think you should, too. Everybody should. It's a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Brutal, what you been playing, man? Fortnite. Bunch of Fortnite.
Oh, man, I've been playing that Radical Heights a little bit.
Oh, yeah, Radical Heights is good.
It's got potential to be good. It's got potential to be really good. But...
Dude, I saw like a couple of tweets out there and being like, I don't know, they were like talking to Cliffy and he was talking about shit and they're like, oh, Radical Heights is like a flop. I'm like, motherfucker, it's in early access. What are you talking about? Like, it hasn't even
early access, bro. But like the thing, that's what's like kind of damaging to the industry though right now. Like if you think about it, everybody gets an early access game. People are getting early access to, or people are confusing an early access just launched, but are confusing that with
With
an
an actual
open
launch?
beta that a game that launches full price AAA in the next 2 weeks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's crazy.
I don't know what Daz is talking about, but there's a that threw me so off. Been playing that. I've never played before, and I'm just picking it up. I'm just trying to play it now because I'm interested. I watched somebody streaming it the other day, but Warframe. I don't know if anybody else has played it, but it looks like it's up my alley. It's super grindy, so
Nice.
I might get down on some of that.
I know what he's talking about. Your headphones in the back look like a penis.
We've
Oh, is that what he's talking about?
Like a
for real?
penis.
I'm gonna make them look better for you, bro.
put the balls, let them air out a little bit, you know.
Yeah,
Nice.
just flip 'em out, bro. My headphones are going commando just for you, Daz.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah! But that's about it, man. Just Warframe. Yeah, I've been playing Fortnite, but I'm getting a little triggered with all the bullshit they're throwing into the game lately. So,
All those new
Time to
weapons
migrate.
and stuff.
yo, have you guys seen the previews or like the gameplay footage of Ring of Elysium?
Nope, I have not.
No. I mean, maybe we can.
I would
talk
definitely
about
check
a
it
little bit. I don't want to take up the whole intro section with that. So go ahead, man.
All right, cool.
Back to you, Captain.
Magic Mike, what you been playing, man?
Well, I've also been playing some Hellblade, and I haven't put as much time into that game as I would want to, but from what I've played so far, that has got to have some of the best sound design in a game I've ever experienced.
Absolutely.
But I've been really feeling that God of War itch because of the game coming out this Friday, so I've been playing a lot of God of War 3 Remastered.
Ooh, nice.
Played some Horizon Zero Dawn as well.
Nice, dude.
Nice, dude. How are you liking Horizon coming from somebody who just got a PlayStation?
I like it. I mean, it's definitely a solid game. I think I was expecting more because it was built up to be like, such a great game by all the people that really loved it. So I mean, it's definitely, it suffers from the same type of open world fatigue that a lot of other games do.
Yeah.
But it's a really cool game. I love the atmosphere, the settings, the enemies, the robot dinosaur things. Like it's it's
Yeah, the gameplay is not like really it doesn't set the world on fire. It's like just doing a lot of things that other games have done.
I mean, visually. I mean, would you guys say visually is like the biggest like attraction to that game is just the aesthetics of it because it looks fucking gorgeous.
Yeah, it is.
I liked practically everything about it. The aesthetics, the
I did too, man.
graphics, the enemies. The enemies was never boring to me. You keep getting more and more dinosaurs and stuff. It's like
larger, crazier ones.
Yeah, it's like
that's cool.
It's the only stale part is the humans. Like over a time, it's like all right, enough of the humans. But
yeah.
Totally.
Any other games, Mike?
I was playing some Far Cry 5 as well. Can't put that game down.
Yeah, Far Cry is awesome. Wolf, what you been playing?
Fortnite and Terra. And Radical Heights. I was playing Radical Heights.
Oh yeah, Radical Heights is nice.
I was playing that. My mainstream games have just been Terra and Fortnite.
It's cool. No worries about that. No worries. For me, I played some Radical Heights. I've been playing a lot of Doom because I'm working on a video right now with the Big Potato X. So I'm playing a shit ton of Doom again, which is awesome. And playing some Hellblade on the Xbox. It's the second time I bought that game, but on a PC now, but on the Xbox. So good stuff. Xbox guys, why are you not supporting that game? Help those developers out. They're doing some awesome things. They're also going to be donating to like mental health and all that kind of stuff. Get out there and get this game. It's super cheap. Why are you not getting it?
Yeah, it's so cheap for such a high production value. Like I don't understand why you wouldn't buy it.
I don't know. I mean, if it's not your game, it's not your game. But sorry, am I good?
I was gonna say, I mean, the only thing I can figure is most people that really wanted to play that game got it. If they didn't have a PS4, got it for the PC when it came out. And don't really fancy rebuying it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's only about 6-7 hours, like the whole thing, but
If you want those Chivos, though.
that's one of the reasons why I got it was Chivos. To get them Chivos. But yeah, get out there and support that game if you haven't played it. It's a good game. Do it. All right, let's go ahead and get into the first topic of the night. It's already got Brutal already triggered, so
Not just him, man. Not just Brutal.
Well, yeah, I think it's going to trigger us all. But Square Enix Avenger game, it could be a Destiny type of game. So in this article that, and big shout out to Mike, he threw this one in there, so I want to put this on the show. In an article from Power Up Gaming by Leo Stevenson, he breaks down a bunch of job postings from Square Enix and kind of connects them all together and what type of game this is going to be. And it's a really well done article, like researched it a shit ton, so kudos to that guy. You don't really see that in the gaming media these days, so that's really awesome to see. But he kind of comes down to his conclusion of like being a Destiny-esque type of kind of game. And the last part I wanted to bring in too from his article was like the whole scope of the project from Square Enix themselves. Is like the Avengers project is being designed for gamers worldwide and will be packed with all the characters, environments, and iconic moments that have thrilled longtime fans of the franchise. Featuring a completely original story, it will introduce a universe of gamers that you can play for years to come. What do you guys think? Is this a good thing?
Oh God!
All right, so we got Mike puking all over the place.
The game that I've been looking forward to is going to be like Destiny, and it makes me queasy. I'm so disappointed by this because the Avengers is a great property and it really has a lot of potential there. And really, the whole time they've been teasing this game, I've been waiting for this like amazing single player experience with maybe some co-op thrown in. But now to find out that it's going to be an MMO where you're going to be building a character and there's going to be like 500 other iterations of that same character with a different wig or something running around, and they're Avengers or maybe it's going to be better than I think it is, but I read Avengers is going to be an MMO like Destiny, and it's just like, God damn it. That's all I can think.
Yeah, I don't understand that either. Like, I was like, oh, all right, so Avengers, you got all the main characters, or if you pick like a different team, like the Young Avengers or some other kind of Avengers team, like you play as part of each one of those guys going through the story, or you're having like a group that you control all together. Like, there was like so many different ways, and then they kind of went with this whole Destiny MMO thing. So now I'm thinking, like we were talking about before the show, is like DC Universe, and I'm just like,
I really like it though.
She-Wolf. Dang it, She-Wolf.
I love. Okay,
Always,
so
always.
Hold on. Let me explain. I love like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So like I guess if you took like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. where you get to become like an Inhuman and all that kind of stuff, it's kind of cool to be able to be part of like that form of universe. Like Avengers project doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be like the Avengers. Like
I want to be like I want to be Iron Man. I want to be Captain America.
Where's the progress that you can
But it's
get out
because
of like starting
MMO
as a
style
superhero?
games, just like Battle Royale style games, are in. People like to feel like they are in, like they get to be part of that universe. And that's kind of something that like these games I find target in gamers and stuff like that is like DC Universe, it has done well. There's actually a lot of people that play that game. So to bring a version of it as from the Marvel side of it, which people love Marvel, they love, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they love the Avengers and everything else like that. So to bring a game like DC to the Marvel aspect of it, that's going to bring in a lot of fans and a lot of people are going to buy it, especially if it's a free-to-play like the DC.
You really think so? Like somebody's just going to make a generic character and just walk around and kind of, instead of playing Iron Man and fucking...
Okay, so the fact that they're not bringing, like, now if they bring a campaign to it, where you actually get to, like, say, meet up with them or whatever. Or, who knows, it could also be something like a side thing or a DLC that they add where you actually get to, actually play as the Avengers. Just because
I hope it's more...
just because they're saying that it's a Destiny-style world doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be completely out of the books of... Like, for all you know, they could turn around and take the Destiny aspect of the game, and you get to pick one of the Avengers, which, sadly to say, there's not a completely whole lot of them.
I'm okay with, like, a drop-in kind of type scenario, like maybe like Anthem or Monster Hunter right now. Like, you're an Avenger type kind of character, but you have, like, a main storyline and doing all that kind of stuff and helping out the Avengers. I'm cool with that. I'm not probably going to be cool with the whole... MMO open worldy kind of thing.
So what if it is actually more like Anthem? We already know that Anthem has a Destiny style version to it. Like it's supposed to be, that's the feel of it, but we all know that that's not actually how it's going to be played out. They've already explained that it's not. So just because they seem to compare every style of open world games like these to Destiny. That is the one game that they keep comparing it to. So it may not. It may actually be like an Anthem kind of thing where it's only actually a multiplayer universe, kind of like Monster Hunter. So you'll get to pick one of the Avengers, and then your friends can join in as Avengers, and then you
See, I'm
go
okay with
into the
that. Like,
world.
I'm cool with
like,
that.
Just because they say that it is a Destiny style world does not mean that it's actually going to be like Destiny.
Yeah. What's everybody else think?
Because everyone compares Destiny to
Oh,
everything.
Yeah.
It's just like meh.
I don't really know how you go to I don't know how to transition the Marvel universe over into like a MMO experience. Like to me, an MMO like requires like progression, right?
Yes.
And
Progression and grinding. That's all really an
and I
MMO
don't.
is.
No, I guess I'm just having trouble like grasping how they're going to incorporate that. I mean, there's no way that you're playing as a superhero in an MMO. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, there's no progress for a superhero to be had.
Well, that's
You know
not
what I
true.
mean?
Because
I
you
mean-
still
I mean,
need to learn skills.
Not
It's-
yeah, but not to fuel an entire MMO. I mean, I mean, the word MMO is, I guess, being used loosely, but it doesn't. All right, say you pick the Hulk. Where's your progress? Where's your progression at there?
He gets angrier and angrier every time you level up.
There's
Each
no
new raid
progression.
you go to, he's like an
I'm
angry
so
version.
angry at grind, Hulk smash.
There's some
But
characters.
he can be
where there's-
used as a form of tank. Like, you have to look at the fact of like how MMOs are.
Oh, is that
right
what
now.
Brutal's talking about? Like in a team aspect kind of thing?
I guess like
talking about-
like the grinding aspect of it. Like, okay, so when you look at Terra, for instance, you get like a standard MMO where you pick like a healer, a sorceress, a tank, a lancer, whatever.
Yeah.
You get skills and you build up. However, think about the fact of how a tank, because you play tank quite a bit. Think about how they actually progress. You get skills that just make you stronger. Whether you hit differently, like it could be like where you actually get to like
I mean, they've done it in DC Universe. Like
they have done it. They've
there is.
already.
I mean, I haven't played
progressed.
enough DC Universe to be like yes or no. But I mean, the reason why I'm not playing DC Universe is
All
it's just
I'm
not a game I
saying-
like.
is that it just doesn't. It doesn't strike any chord with me to where I'm like, that could be really cool. Like I have a 5%, if that, inside me right now. That's like, this game might be pretty sweet, and I have very little faith in it. I'm just saying that now. I could be proven completely wrong, and I hope I am, because it's a cool idea. I just don't see how it could be fleshed out to be an entertaining game to play.
Like,
to,
okay,
Or to
have
put a
any
lot of time
longevity.
into.
Okay,
Yeah.
so here's another one. Star Trek Online. Like you literally like you're a Star Trek
I think you're just an
person.
MMO fanboy.
I love MMOs. I
I
grew
love
up like
MMOs
that
too,
is
so
what
that's-
I like first started all my gaming aspect. Like come on. The very
Oh.
first form of like game I played
Yeah, I mean,
was,
not every MMO is a good one though.
majority of them are.
Well, but
Mm.
Star Trek makes sense because you can be a crew member. The Starship Enterprise is huge. There's thousands and thousands of crew members, so that works with an MMO. But the Avengers is like, it's a team of between like 5 to 10 heroes, not a team.
That's part of my. That's
100
part of
here.
what I'm saying too.
But
Mike,
they've
is
never
there's a-
specified that you're going to play as the Avengers.
They titled the project
Yeah.
wrong.
I agree with Mike. Like the title alone. Like if you're gonna say you're making a fucking Avengers game, I want to play as the fucking Avengers,
Yeah,
not
I'm
some
not-
upstart
so-
like rookie.
So you don't want to be a rookie that gets like
Fuck
look
no.
at Spider-Man. Like they were little and okay, Spider-Man is actually a perfect example of how they could actually do all of this. So you take Spider
I don't follow that at all.
So you like unlock tactical mode in your suit? You got
Pretty-
a brand new Jarvis Spider-Man?
Yes, exactly though. He had
But
to
it's-
unlock things as he progressed in his training. He was
I get
allowed
that, but
like
that's a finite amount of superheroes that actually have enough progression in their storyline and their skills alone that can fuel the storyline of an MMO and the replayability and the hours that are required.
I
to
don't
put in,
think
like,
this
a
game
true
is going to
MMO
be an
into them.
MMO.
Well, no, okay, so here's the thing. There's nothing special about Spider-Man. If you first boot up the game and you create your character and you say, I want to be a spider here type hero,
Mhm.
and you get put into this world, and the first thing you see is like 500 people web swinging around
Right.
you.
You're not unique anymore.
Like in a
Yeah.
starting area where it's like where all the Spider-Man start, and you're just like everyone's just like swinging around, like one basic like webs throw, like web sling ability, like that's all you have.
Like what GKB was saying with DC Universe Online, like that's a comic book MMO, and it's popular. I know there are a lot of people that still play it, but when I played it, I created a speedster character And
Mhm.
then,
Oh my
after
God,
I got
so
through
did
the
I.
intro mission, it put me in this world, and there's like, 50 other speedsters flying
Exactly.
around past me. It's like, oh, well,
Yeah, but that's
I'm not
any
fast if
MMO
everyone's
though.
fast.
Yeah, but I think that would be the problem with it. Is like for me, it's like I don't want to play a generic version of Iron Man or Hulk or anybody else. I want to play them. Period.
So it's the fact of you just don't want an MMO at all. You just want a straight campaign style game.
Yes, a
And that's
linear
what modern
story
games are
thing.
lacking. Like, we haven't gotten any in a long time.
There's no money in that.
Last
Just
gen were horrible.
it costs too much. That's it. It's just a cash grab.
I mean,
It'll
I hope
cost
it's
it'll
not
cost
that,
them
like-
too much to get the voice actors for the Avengers team to do it.
yeah. They're saying it's like a new, like whole new story and all that kind of stuff. So I don't think they're gonna get like Robert Downey Jr. Like that'd be fucking so insane. Like budget.
That they would destroy it, especially there's a lot of up there actually.
So
Yeah.
much, bro.
They'd be like microtransactions out of the ass in this game just to make a.
We're gonna have Ugandan Iron Man.
How many times can I say MMO in 5 minutes? MMO, MMO, MMO,
Let's not
MMO,
do
MMO. I can say it quite a bit.
But
Mute that mic real quick, bro.
I totally will, bro. Just do it.
Wait, what are we talking about now?
He said mute that mic real quick while you do
Wow. Wow. You're just a hater tonight. You are
Come
full
on, She-Wolf.
out hater.
that. We love you,
Hater
She-Wolf.
is an oxymoron. In me.
This is the only reason that I like, or at least one of the reasons why I do miss Fox, because at least she took my side on things.
I'm
Yeah,
taking your
'cause
side.
you females all stick together.
Well, yeah, because you guys are all jerks and you guys stick together. So
All right, moving
You
on.
and I are synced up.
Sticking out with this.
She-Wolf wants to be optimistic about Avengers. We all hate it if it's
I
going to go
think
this way.
it could be a cool idea.
No way. Get out of here. All right, let's move on.
Savage.
Topic 2 is 2K reportedly working on a new Bioshock game. So, Kotaku's Jason Schreier reported discovering an unannounced project that works at the neighboring secret studio codename Parkside. This project is said to be the next Bioshock. In November of 2015, Strauss Zelnick, CEO of 2K Interactive, which owns 2K, said Bioshock is unquestionably a permanent franchise. Take-Two rekindled this idea in the fiscal report released in November of 2017, said a highly anticipated new title from the 2K's biggest franchises will release in March 31st in 2019. I don't know if that game particularly is going to be Bioshock that's going to be releasing in March. If I had to guess, it's probably going to be like Borderlands 3 because they're working on that as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the timeline fits for Bioshock, but I'm super stoked to see a new Bioshock game. I hope it's like Bioshock Infinite was really cool, but I thought it was like too action-y.
I didn't like
wanted
Bioshock. I liked the first two.
Yeah, I like the first two too because it was more like survival horror
And
kind
I
of.
was gonna say it was more horror style. It's what the genre felt like it should be.
Yeah.
Where Infinite kind of felt more like it was trying to be more of like an Assassin's Creed
Yeah.
kind of adventurous, and
Yeah.
I didn't like that. I liked what Bioshock brought with like
The
you know
first two
Big
games.
Brother and all that, where it was like you didn't know what was happening around you and the creepiness of it, and you know you go in like the down.
Bioshock Infinite by no means was a bad game.
No, it was a good.
I prefer
game.
more of the first two than
Yeah.
everybody else.
Yeah.
You guys excited for a new Bioshock game?
Fuck yeah, dude. Who's not?
Right.
Now I'm on the other side. I think
Ooh.
the third one was the best one. Not
Really?
excluding the first one, because I don't think it's ever fair to
Compare the
even
first one.
mention. Yeah,
Yeah.
because the first one started it all, and that could just end any argument, in my opinion, about which one is the best.
Yeah, the first
So,
one is just
Compared to
iconic.
two, it destroys two. Like two is like forgettable compared to the third one.
And goodbye.
I mean, Sid makes a good point. Like a lot of people like the gameplay and stuff
I
from
know.
Infinite, and like I said, I don't think
And
Infinite
the
was a bad
story,
game.
The sci-fi little twist, time
Yeah, yeah.
and all that. That was awesome. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, you're right.
The second one was like trying to be the first one, but kind of like watered down.
Yeah.
Like it just added, Big Daddy. Now you got Big Sister. Now you got Big
Yeah.
Pokemon. I don't know what's going on.
It's little sister, by the way. It's big
I
brother.
think I think I agree with Mike on that one, bro. I think the second one got watered down too much.
Oh, and didn't it add multiplayer too? While the first one didn't have multiplayer.
I don't remember
Yeah.
that, but
Yeah. The
Yeah.
second
sounds
one
right.
was multiplayer.
Yeah, that was awful. That's an awful mistake. Okay, that was just they could have just saved money, man hours. I mean,
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, I don't play Bioshock because it's got multiplayer. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, he's right. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to Bioshock for multiplayer action and just
That's
Don't
like
even buy the
Tomb
game.
Raider having multiplayer.
Do you guys
Who
think we're gonna
really
see
needs
a
right now?
teaser at E3 for Bioshock? Game?
yeah.
Yes.
Or you think it's too early?
No, I think there'll be a teaser, because
Bro, there's no such thing as too early this day and age, bro.
especially for
that's true.
teasers, really all a teaser is just a cutscene. They don't have to show any form of gameplay. They don't have to show,
They can show,
know,
like-
in depth of the game. They literally can just show a name, and that's technically a teaser of it. So
They could show like
You
one.
have like 5
Big
lines of
Daddy arm.
dialogue, and then the little lighthouse comes up out of the darkness, and that's Bioshock.
Bioshock. Show the logo.
pretty much.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, to continue on like with the article and stuff, they said that they're like really early in the stages of the game and all that kind of stuff. They're trying to find that it thing to wrap around the whole Bioshock. I just hope it goes back to more of the first one to me, but
I
I'll
would
still be
like
happy
to see
either
that
way.
too.
I'd be happy either way.
I don't know
love
if it's
Bioshock.
ever going to get the vibe of the original Bioshock because isn't Ken Levine? He's not there anymore. He's not working on it, right?
I don't believe so. I think it's just going to be. I think some of their top artists and stuff that are from the studios are kind of going over there and helping out and doing whatever. Well, they're trying to keep it small, and I think they're just trying to keep it small just so leaks don't get out about this. But even though a leak just happened, but I mean, what can you do? But cool. I'm excited for a new Bioshock. I hope we see something at E3. All right, let's go ahead and talk about some Xbox hate. Everybody wants to hear that from me, I'm sure.
You fucking flip flopping ponytail.
All right, let's go ahead and talk about some Inside Xbox. Let's break it down. What was it any better? What you guys like? What you didn't like?
Here's my first question, real quick.
Okay,
Does anybody watch this show?
Yeah,
I've watched it both times.
we watched it
Nobody.
both times.
That is the most boring shit that I'm not watching it. I'm not watching any more of them.
I mean, it's
Only
fine. If you
watch
don't like it.
I can only watch a 56-year-old man in a blazer and a t-shirt. talk
Dude,
for
I
so
I
long.
feel you
White
there on
gloves.
that.
I'm just
White
like,
gloves. He had the white gloves on again.
Fuck that guy, bro.
I think like Major Nelson, like he just needs to kind of like go off into the back and just like produce shows now and not
Yeah.
really be on them anymore.
They do. I do
What's up?
think they
Wait.
need-
What is all like this hate for him? Like I don't get it.
I don't have
I'm
any
not
hate
hating
for him.
on
I
him,
just
bro.
he's
I'm
like
just-
unrelatable and he's awkward as shit on the show.
He's real awkward, bro. It's like he's like, I don't know. I feel like he's always gonna walk up to my group of friends and be like, "Hey, young kids, what's going on?"
They need
Like, I
they
feel like
need
he's
to
gonna, like,
start
try to
bringing in
skate.
a younger face to, especially with like, we're in the generation of Major Nelson, but the younger generations that are like coming up into Xbox, they're just gonna see an old guy standing there. Nothing against you, Major Nelson. You know, you're an awesome dude and everything, but I do think they need to start bringing in like a younger face. Like you had like the other three guys that and there was a female, of course, but.
AC Bongos and the two other.
Yeah, like they were lively. Like when they talked, they made you want to look at what they were talking about. And,
One thing
you
I
know,
will say though is that they're really good at being really passionate about their brand, and I can respect that for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, part of that's a requirement for the job, obviously, but you can tell that most of the team is like really passionate about Xbox and like the where it's going and their aspirations for the future. And I didn't mean that as like a personal attack towards Larry Hurd by any means. I'm just
Because
I'm
everybody
really
hates
just-
him. He's like an awful person, and he just should be fired.
no,
No, no,
I'm
no,
not saying
I mean,
that.
I'm
Come
just
on
saying
now,
that's
bro.
what
a
I'm
lot of
hearing.
people
I'm
do
like,
say that. Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Do they really? Like, yeah, I'm not saying that at all. All I'm saying is that I'd like to, I mean, switch it up a little bit. And that's all I'm saying, bro.
I mean, if
I
he
don't- I
had
don't-
better stuff to talk about, maybe he'd be.
It just seems
that's
like
true.
I'm just saying, like, if there's like a Halo coming out or something,
I mean, just on like the Major Nelson thing, it's just like if he wants to host a show and just be like the host and just come out and being like, "Hey, it's Inside Xbox" and all this other stuff, but he literally is in every single segment, and it's like,
Yeah.
bro, we don't need that much of you. Like, there's other people, like talented people around you that can handle different interviews.
He's
and
like Puff Daddy, that's all up in the videos and stuff.
yeah, he's
like,
just for
it's
like really no
why?
reason. Like,
Damn.
I think he's just there just to be there, and then like I always find it like funny, like him and AC Bongos and the other guys. It's just like they don't really know how to like joke around with Major Nelson, so it's kind of like awkward and it's just weird sometimes. I'm just like, it's so cringy sometimes. I'm just like, man. But anyway, let's move off Major Nelson.
Needless to say, I wish people would stop hating it. Like, you don't know him, so don't go sitting there, saying like he's,
Yeah,
he's
I'm
a
looking at this
jerk
as like a
and all this other
production kind of
stuff.
thing, not a.
But it's more or
personal
less
thing.
we're just getting at the fact that like you see a lot of
Yeah, let's
younger
really
faces
reiterate
that
this
need
before
the
we're
like positivity.
castrated.
We're gonna get pigeonholed into a Major Nelson hating podcast.
Yeah, this is exactly what's gonna happen.
Why nobody
whatever.
said anything about like?
No,
hating
I
on
really don't care what people have to say, but
Yeah, I don't really care.
I don't think Inside Xbox is very entertaining. It doesn't make me want to like put it on my calendar and make sure I'm there for the next one. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's fair. Like, yeah, I totally get that too. Like, I thought this show was way better than that train wreck of the first show.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
absolutely.
It had much better pacing. Like, they were more on point. Like, getting to
It's not
what
hard
needs to be.
though, bro.
Yeah, from the first show.
For
It's
that
definitely not
first
hard.
one, but I mean, granted, it's your first show, but
I like that they, one of the biggest things that I'm going to point out that I like that they talked about was a game that just released. It was
RoboCraft.
an indie title. RoboCraft Infinite. Like, literally, it's a game that was not really talked about. It didn't get much hype at first and stuff like that. And then they talked about it. They actually, showed the Xbox gamers this game. And I think that was definitely something that is needed. They need to do that with their titles that aren't so known, like Sea of Thieves. Like last month it was just about Sea of Thieves and it was a lot of stuff we already knew, so it's kind of like, okay, we know this, we know it's coming, okay. But then they went to this one and they brought in RoboCraft, and it was like, something new and refreshing because a lot of people didn't know about this game.
I think that's a lot of like what the show is about too, is like showing off some games that they just don't have time for at E3 or Gamescom to be in their presentations and stuff. And big shout out to Max Power, another great channel. Make sure you guys go follow that out. I like what he's saying. He's like, I find the show just gives me what I've already read or seen about. And I think that's true for us too, Max. Like, we're entrenched in this, whole gaming media and all that kind of stuff. So, like, I don't think this show is for us. I think it's for, people that just don't know a lot what's going on with the Xbox.
But I don't think those people watch it because they don't really know about it either. So
I feel like almost any news / convention / like reveal kind of thing is that there's very few and far between where everybody's like just like their jaws are dropped to the floor, and I think that's why that contributes to like the not necessarily downfall, but the lack of popularity for like these big conventions now. Is it like everything's so accessible and like leaks are not even really considered leaks anymore.
Yeah.
It's just news. You know what I mean? It's not like, hey guys, I got the up and up on this game coming out. You're not the only person that has the up and up on it, bro. Like
you and 900 other people.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just I think that especially shows like this, and like you guys were saying, it's kind of a biased view because that's what we do, and we try to find news and talk about news and want to make sure that we're hitting all the big points. It gets redundant, and it's hard to make a show with new, like, quote unquote insider information because everybody's poking and everybody's poking and prodding, trying to get the newest stuff anyway. So
yeah, for sure. Let's talk about. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's, they can't do the big huge releases on a show like Inside Xbox because then what are you gonna have for the major conferences throughout the year? It's you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. They can't please everybody because then there's gonna be something missing later on in the year.
Agreed. So one of the big headlines for Inside Xbox was Xbox Back Compat news. We got to see some OG Xbox stuff getting all kinds of cool treatment. I will say one thing. I'm not a big fan of Back Compat. I think it's great for people that love it. But that tech that they are doing with the OG Xbox, making it like just look phenomenal on today's consoles, is great. I'm sorry, I just don't get hyped about Back Compat games. Like, I bought an Xbox One X to play new great stuff. It's great for people that enjoy it. But for me, it was kind of a meh topic for me. But
I was super excited when they said Blinks is coming.
Yeah, you would.
I was.
Good, man.
One of the reasons that you're kind of nonplussed by the whole Back Compat thing is because you're also a big PC gamer. And for PC gamers,
I mean, it's fair.
Basically, like, what Xbox is doing with Back Compat is what PC gamers have been doing for the past 30 years. you get new hardware, your old games run on that hardware and they run better than it did on your previous hardware.
Yeah.
In the console space to get that kind of an environment, I mean, that's awesome for us
I
because
mean, it's unprecedented, really, because like the Xbox One X is the only one that's doing that right now. Like, you can go all the way back to the OG Xbox and play games that you traditionally couldn't do that anymore, but now you can. So, yeah, I get your point. Like, as far as like the PC side, like, all that stuff still rings true today, like playing on there. But I mean, even then, I don't really go back to like OG Xbox type of games, even on PC, to really play them. Like, honestly, I want to play the new latest and greatest stuff. I'm a guy that doesn't have a lot of time, so going back to these old games that I played on previous gens doesn't really appeal to me. I'd rather spend time on new games, my backlog that I already have. Like, just for me, it's just not a thing.
I get that, but there is a subsect of people out there, and I fall into that where we find that game that we really love. Like one of my favorite PC games that by today's standards is old as dirt, is actually one of the back compat titles that was announced on this month's Inside Xbox, Jedi Knight Jedi Academy. I played the crap out of that game on my PC back in college.
Oh, absolutely, man.
I mean, I dumped hundreds upon hundreds of hours into that. There was a really great online community that I was a part of, and people were asking me, am I excited for that game to come to the back compat program? I'm really not, because that's kind of where my, I guess the little bit of a PC snob that's in me comes out. Is I played that game on PC. I can't play that on a controller. You don't get the same level of control as what the PC offered. But I still play that game on, my laptop and everything like that. So that's a game that, had I only played it on OG Xbox, I would be really excited to go back and play that again.
Oh, that's a fair point, man. What about you, Brutal? What about you, Sith? What do you guys think?
What do you guys think of what do you think the actual value, and how much value do you think that adds to like the average person, for those like niche like experiences? Like,
average person, I don't think they probably don't even know about it or even care, to be honest with you. I think it's for the hardcore.
And I think that to me, the way I perceive Microsoft's branding and their marketing scheme right now is to provide a universal great experience for everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
And not just, when I say experience, I don't mean just gaming. I mean, clearly Microsoft is pushing the Xbox to be a multimedia platform. I mean, which in some sense, all the devs, I mean, all the big three, I guess you could say, are really trying to do is make a multimedia kind of environment. I think Microsoft's doing the best with that part. And I'm have this idea creeping up in the back of my mind that I'm really hoping is true, that Microsoft's playing the really slow, long roll, to where eventually they're going to get past this environment development, and they're going to get to the point where every game that's ever been made is already on BC, and they're past that hurdle. And they're just building their vision of having one console for any game that Microsoft has ever made. And I'm hoping that's the case. They're rolling these out in like kind of iterations, and some of the quotes that we've talked that Phil Spencer has come out saying, that kind of seems like in the direction they're moving towards. And I think we're going to talk about that a little more later, but I don't see the
I just don't see going forward
and putting time into BC as much as they are.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Like, I think when they announced it at E3 and then OG, like a little bit after that, like, I just don't see like the big, huge thing behind it, like every other month on like Inside Xbox, or like taking up time at E3 for back compat. I just we don't.
I'm hoping that like in Phil Spencer's grand plan to take over the world, I hope that this backwards compat thing is a sub bullet of a sub, like chapter 39 section 12, way deep down to his plan, to where he can get past this part and then just keep going forward and start making people see that Xbox isn't like fucking around anymore, because it, and I'm praying that we see a lot of like first party love, and I'm kind of indifferent about first parties because I don't really play any console in particular, but I'm just talking about it for the good of Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
They need something to drive people towards your machine versus the power.
We'll talk about that a little bit for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So,
okay, so on the inside of Xbox, they talk about FanFest. They One of the big things that I really enjoyed was the interview with Michael Ironside and talking about the Wildlands season 2. I thought that was fantastic. I thought
You
his
liked
whole
it because of the fact that it had.
I can listen to Splinter Cell's voice
it
all
was
day
all
long.
Splinter Cell.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And he was talking about his whole how he developed that character and all that kind of stuff. It was fantastic. I think it's one of the best interviews I've seen in a while. So I was super stoked about that. So. Don't hate on me. Don't hate on me.
But you were
I personally love
disappointed.
seeing
Hold
him.
on, but you were disappointed when you found out that you don't actually get to play as him in the new DLC.
Yeah, but I mean, I
Who
wasn't really
disappointed when they found that out, though.
GKB was disappointed because he's
That's
like,
what I'm
wait,
saying.
I get to just run around and actually just talk to him.
I mean,
He's
that
like
would have
this.
got my Splinter Cell fix until the game came out or whatever. But I mean, he kind of nonchalantly say, "Hey, a Splinter Cell's around the corner," kind of thing too.
There's
Which I
no
thought
way
was
that
cool.
this isn't just a hard hint into the fact
Oh yeah,
that
absolutely, dude.
it's all coming out. You're
He
just
confirmed
getting
it
his
without
name back.
confirming it.
Yeah, exactly. I love seeing the process behind voice actors.
Yeah, for sure.
I there's a whole documentary on Netflix. It's all it is about voice actors throughout Hollywood and your different favorite characters that talking about the process behind developing the character. There's so much more into it than just making a voice, and I think that the Ironside interview was fucking sweet.
Yeah, I think it was the high point of the show for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Any other things we want to touch on? Oh, the Fan Fest. What the hell do we got to pay for Fan Fest for? The fuck is that shit?
Come
No,
on, baby.
I think it makes a lot of sense after what's happened the past couple of years, where they've had, way more people than what they expected to turn out, and they've had to turn people away, and they've had that really weird lottery system. I mean, I remember hearing about it last year at FanFest, they weren't really giving them out in the order that people had lined up, and all kinds of weird things like that. I think that by selling tickets, even though it's kind of it hurts to have to pay money for something that you used to get for free.
I mean, they're not terrible. It was only $45.
Negative press of what's happened in the previous 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a terrible price. It's $45, and they're they're gonna take care of you and all that kind of stuff. It's cool, and they're giving
$45
Also-
12 hours.
yeah, they're doing 1,000 tickets for the E3 presentation.
Plus, I think they've had people who have tried just giving the tickets away, or they just don't even bother to show up. They'll.
So I guess if they make you pay for it, you're gonna be there, kind of thing.
Well, it would make you more
inclined to.
acceptable to actually we're
Cool.
gonna attempt it.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, guys, we are gonna attempt it. If we don't get it, we're not going to E3. But if we do get it, it's gonna be interesting trying to go to E3. But
Yeah,
we're
we'll
gonna
do it.
attempt it.
Ain't worried about it. All right, we killed Inside Xbox to death. Major Nelson, I'm sorry, bro, but we gotta get you to step down there.
They say, take your Geritol and let somebody young take over.
You're just jealous that he gets so much airtime, GKB.
Yeah, he gets more than me. What the fuck is this, man?
Yeah, fuck you, bro. Hater, motherfucker, pony boy.
All right, let's go ahead and move on. Kind of what Brutal was alluding to already. Phil Spencer responds to Ryan McCaffrey's tweet about lackluster first party. So this is what Ryan says. Xbox fans are dying to celebrate a masterpiece level exclusive like God of War. Thing is, though, it took Sony 10 years to get to this point where the first party is firing on all cylinders. This work started in PS3 era. Xbox might get there if it's going to take a long time. Phil Spencer responds, our hardware took time. Our services platform, BC, took time. And continuing to grow our first party will take time. A high quality and diverse first party, yes, with single player, built the right way is our goal and what our customers deserve. We can have similar results of what we had in the hardware on the platform. What do you guys think before I go in on this one?
Where were these questions 4 years ago when Sony had a sparse year of lineup, exclusive games? I don't remember hearing this so much then because at least we knew what was on the horizon. I think this goes back to what we were saying last week where we want to see more of a roadmap. We want to see not just what's coming out in the next 12 months, but what are the plans for the future? Because that's what's going to hook people. That's what's going to make people want to come to the platform.
Agreed.
We talked about it. We know that big name exclusives sell consoles. I've got a PlayStation 4 now, and it's not a coincidence I got that right before God of War came out.
Right.
So where are the system sellers for Xbox? And
that's. Sorry, man.
I was just gonna say, I think it's unfair to dismiss all the exclusives that we've gotten so far on the Xbox One platform because they were diverse. There was a good range of them, and they were some really great games. But they just got buried behind the whole power narrative that now it seems that the news cycle has moved past that and it's going back into the games narrative. I feel really bad for Phil Spencer because it seems like no matter what he does, it's the wrong move. But like what GKB was saying last week, it's all been reactionary, whereas he needs to kind of plan ahead. If they weren't reacting to the market, if they were on top of things, then they would have a better handle of it. I guess the only saving grace that allows me to get past this is knowing that there have been so many hands that have taken over. Phil Spencer, this is what, like his fourth or fifth year now.
Yeah.
So this is the year that I'm expecting to see his influence really make itself known in the games that we see, and that's why I feel like this E3 is really the make or break moment for Xbox when it comes to what's going to happen for the brand for the next 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, anybody want to go ahead, like, before I go? Like for me, like, I get that, like, it's been 4 years at this point. Like, I'm sorry, I just don't feel like there's an excuse to not have consistent, like, big AAA exclusives like God of War. I don't want a God of War clone. I want the quality of God of War in Xbox's first party, and that's really frustrating with me and a lot of other people out there as well. And to Mike's point is, like, these are big games that drive your platform. And Mike just picked up a PS4 because of God of War, and I saw a lot of other people not abandoning Xbox but buying another console, PS4.
No. You can't buy two consoles and not be a fucking
I know.
flip-flopper. You know that.
Yeah, for sure.
How dare you enjoy everything the game offers?
But that's my point, though. Like,
You trash.
Like, I get that. Like, you get the console because you want to play the games, but at the same point, I'm like, if you can't afford all the consoles, like, why are you not having those experiences on your platform to keep people interested in all that kind of stuff?
This is what I was like, kind of like working towards earlier, and I wanted to wait for this segment to like go into it more.
Mm-hmm.
Is like, I'm hoping that this is just a huge major revamp, and that Microsoft is going through growing pains rather than just losing their way. You know what I mean? I'm hoping that there's a master plan that just nobody is really keen on right now, and surprise even the insiders that they don't know what's going on yet. Gasp. Fuck. Like, sorry to ruin your day, guys. You might want to go unsub from all your favorite insiders now that you know that they're not real.
I don't know. Like, from his tweet, though, it doesn't sound like he's like, it takes time. I don't think he's going to be dropping like a shit ton of like first party new IPs this E3.
It might not be right now, but what my point was is, what if it? I mean, and this is what I'm hoping for. I mean, a major revamp and a major rebranding and just a re-imaging to where like the perception of your brand is actually changed takes a significant amount of time, especially a brand as big as Microsoft and Xbox. And if you're going from if you're trying to revamp the entire platform that your game has been offering for what? How long since the OG Xbox has been out?
Like 17 years? 17.
Yes. Okay. So you're taking almost 2 decades of change and growth and trying to flip that on its head to present the image that you really want going forward. And it's a really big, in my opinion, like, it's all or nothing right now. Like, if you're going this deep and letting your perception dwindle to the point where it's reduced to a bunch of people that are really just diehard Xbox fans, because like, if you ask me right now, the average gamer is picking a PlayStation.
Yep.
Your kid that's 8, 9, 10 years old is picking a PlayStation because they see the games coming. Your 9, 10-year-old kid is not worried about the power as much as he is about what game looks cool, what game he's seeing presented on TV. And I think, and I'm hoping that this is a step in their grand plan to, all right, let's rebuild the foundation, get the whole service side done, and then we're going to start moving forward into our first party development. We're going to take all the money and resources that we've been dumping into back compat and having this universal like media experience and move forward into really honing in and drilling down on first party games, because that's the logical, in my mind, that's the logical next step to make Xbox a true competitor, because now they have all their groundwork, right?
Mm-hmm.
Stuff that Sony hasn't worked on yet. and now they're offering like the big heavy hitter first party games, and that's where
I mean,
I can see Microsoft coming back to the forefront.
I agree with Mike's point. Like at the beginning, like Sony wasn't there with their first parties. Like I totally get that, but I kind of expect that going into a new generation. Like they usually don't have a lot of stuff, and then like 3 or 4 years in, like Sony's doing is like when they hit their stride. Where Microsoft had a lot like when they first came out, and now are kind of like just dwindling off and just relying on multi-plats and having the better versions with the Xbox One X and all that kind of stuff. But I still think like. I get that they're trying to build the infrastructure. He's working reactionary on the Xbox One X to combat the PS4, the power narrative, and all that kind of stuff. But those take, engineers of a different level, not software engineers. Like, why can't you? Like, you're still building games. You're having studios doing this, that, and the other while you're building the platform.
Right.
The Xbox Live. Why are you still not developing that? Like, this just seems like a no-brainer to me, and I find it kind of hard to believe that Phil Spencer wouldn't know this either going into it, being like, your first party should have been there from the get-go, not
Especially being
4
a
or 5
gamer.
years into the... Huh?
Especially being a gamer himself.
Yeah, like waiting 4 or 5... And hey, guys, yeah, I'm working on it right now, but all this other stuff
Well-
took time. Like, I just don't buy that excuse. I'm sorry, I just
Jesse
don't.
makes a really good point. He says he thinks Rise is similar to God of War. The only difference is one guy wants to be a god, and one's a Rome. Now the thing, like,
I agree
he
with
has
that.
great I guess that's my only thing is they actually have great titles that they could have made sequels to. They have Sunset Overdrive, they have Rise, they have Recore. But
Yeah.
yet we don't hear nothing about sequels from any of these games at all.
Well, that's my point is, like, yes, Rise is a fantastic game, like, back in when it came out. Like, there's
Yeah.
no Rise 2 right now, so I'm not...
Exactly.
Well, and like what you were saying, GKB, there's no reason why they can't have the teams developing the software continuing to work while new hardware is
Exactly.
being developed. Especially with the
But-
approach that Xbox is taking, where they're going more iterative with their hardware designs, where you're going to have that
Exactly.
backwards and forwards compatibility. If you want forwards compatibility to be important to your brand, then you need to have that software coming out on a regular basis, so that people don't feel like they need to buy that new hardware the moment the game comes out for it, that if they have hardware it works on, they should be happy to use that hardware. But if your games aren't coming out, like what's the point of holding on
okay,
to the...
hold on. In Xbox defense, though, they
Hold on.
kind
Is there a
okay,
defense?
there is. So I'm gonna play like.
All right, well, here's
the
one thing.
defense
Like, to
them.
face... like.
Hold on. Let me get my
What's
thing out.
happening?
You don't ever
Go
let me
ahead,
talk.
go
Like
ahead,
you said,
go
you're
ahead,
like,
go
oh. Anyways, but so when it comes to Xbox, though, they listen to their fans. Okay, one of the biggest things is they listen to the gamers.
Mm-hmm.
Over the last couple of years, everybody has been just going on and on about how they only care about hardware, they want better hardware, and then they talk about like the third-party games. They don't want single-player games, and no.
Yeah, all reactionary, like I've been saying.
But that's the thing, though. Now, all of a sudden, people are like, oh my God, no, Sony's bringing out all these first-party games. Now we want first-party games.
That's...
Like, Xbox is to the point where they're like, you're damned if you do and you're damned
No,
if you
I
don't.
don't think that at all, because like what Face is saying in the chat sounds like GKB is saying Sony was able to deliver the Slim Pro PSVR and still produce AAA games. That's absolutely correct, and I find it hard to believe that Xbox couldn't do the same thing. Software engineers are not building the hardware.
But I don't
like,
think
it's just not
that they
happening.
couldn't deliver. It's just they were focusing on other things that people wanted, the features for Xbox. They wanted
But
the
why couldn't they
third-party
do that at
support
the same
for
time of
Xbox.
building games to
Because
show off that hardware?
I think what Phil's tweet is, it takes time. It's very reminiscent of what was happening when the PlayStation 4, when it first came out, was about the power, but the exclusives was not there. Anybody, I don't care, like, subjectively with games. Xbox had a fucking kick-ass lineup, especially if you're counting Titanfall. Their lineup shitted on anything PlayStation had.
I
Only
agree.
thing PlayStation had
Wholeheartedly.
was, their dumbed-down plan, because they obviously didn't, put out the message of, digital future, because, everyone lives in a submarine and shit.
Mm-hmm.
But besides the point with that, I honestly believe we're in the eye of the storm. I know damn well Phil, he knows what's happening. He knows what he needs to do. If people don't think like a Fable or RPG or any other, another Halo, another Gears. Like they know what to do and they will produce it. I will
I think
admit that I'm a little bit disappointed. And of course, last year, 'cause I think last year was like the worst for exclusive. But I understand that it's a year or two in a generation where it's just dry because PlayStation had that. PlayStation had that when No Man's Sky dropped, and then Uncharted came afterwards. So I think it's like kind of like a blind spot with this whole generation thing is it's not going to be hit after hit after hit every second, especially if it's an awesome game. Now, if you're like a Call of Duty and you could have shit out a turd every single week and every month and every decade, and you still milking that cow, you keep going. It waters down the product. It happens sometimes.
I mean, I totally agree with you, Sith, as far as like, Xbox knocked it out of the park in the beginning of the generation. Absolutely. But it's 2013, 2014 then, like it's 2018 now. Like, I don't give a shit what they did.
But they did have single. They did.
There's no new generation. It's an iterative generation.
But they did actually have they did have games though. Like, but they got, like, obviously the developers screwed them over themselves. So, like, at the same time, is it not, like, possible that Phil is just weary about where he sends his money to who's creating the first-party games? Because
That's a good
clearly
point.
He's had some issues with some of these developers for being dicks in the first place. So, like, there was
that's a fair point.
games.
That's a fair point. But that's also Microsoft's fault, too. You need to
Well, no,
manage the studios that are doing
should-
IPs for you.
The people should have been watching them, yes. Whoever was supposed to be. Like, it's not Phil's job to sit there and babysit them. Yeah. Obviously, I'm sure he had someone else Phil, sorry, you need to fire them if they weren't watching them.
Go ahead.
It is his job to babysit. He's a damn boss.
No, it's
what
not.
What were you
going to
say about, like, Sith, about, like, the generations things?
I honestly, like, I honestly believe this is a next generation. When the X and the Pro came out, you don't come out with a damn console twice the power of the previous console and call it the same generation. This is a different type of generation. But if you're talking about like an iPhone 8 and then an iPhone 9, yeah, it's a next generation. It might use the same processor or it might use the same Gorilla Glass or whatever the hell. But it's a next generation in that product. It's like comparing the Wii U to the Switch.
I don't necessarily agree with that, Sith. Like, I hear what you're saying as far as like the power wise and stuff, but like this is like a whole different like thing. Like, and going forward, like even when the next like PS5 and all that kind of stuff, I don't think that's going to be a new like stop that generation. This is a new generation kind of thing because you got forwards compatibility. It's more coming into like a PC era where you could play your games no matter what version of the console you have.
Right. Like, so the Xbox One X is the next version of Xbox.
But not a new generation because you could still play it.
It's like they're mid-gen.
I mean, so like if you replace your GPU and your PC, do you call that a new generation? Or do you just call it upgrading? If you
replace your GPU, like if right now I get a 1180 GTX, that's the next generation of GTX.
Yeah, of a graphics card, but your whole PC isn't a new generation little thing. Like it doesn't do that. It's just iterative updates. Like you're just updating your console.
Isn't that the same thing with consoles? Because I'm pretty sure they use some similar parts.
Yeah, you're upgrading though. You're not. It's not like a new cutoff point and where those games that you played previously are not going. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
that's my whole problem here. Is that's done. That's not happening again. It's done. There's no need for them to do that. So when they release. And it's like a phone. Like you believe in next generation of phones, right? So if it's a next generation of phone, this phone makes telephone calls. So therefore, like what? It's the same thing. Just the Xbox One X is extremely way more powerful than the Xbox One. So I don't understand how the next gen. This is completely different. Like if we're talking about any other product,
I don't find cell phones are in generations either because literally they're still the exact same phone. There's just a new upgrade.
My point is like when you look at like the OG Xbox to the 360, there was a big generational leap as far as graphically. Like the Xbox One S. If you look at Far Cry, it looks fantastic on that console and also looks fantastic. And the only thing you're really getting at that point is just a resolution boost and maybe some graphical features. It's not a completely different, graphical experience between the two. It's just not. That's why I'm saying I don't believe this is as a new generation. And I don't think going forward they're going to see new generations either. It's just going to be iterative updates going forward. That's kind of what I was saying.
You're talking about like a really big step, like 1080p to 4K is not a big step.
Right.
Well, no, I think that 1080p
Not
to
to me,
4K
anyway.
is a big step from a hardware perspective, and for hardware nerds like me, you, and GKB, like yeah,
Like a
that's a huge
potential.
thing.
Yeah.
But I feel that the visuals that you get between 1080p to 4K, if you're not updating the underlying textures, the polygons per character, things like that, you're not seeing that huge generational leap that GKB is saying between the OG Xbox and the 360. The leap between 1080p to 4K is not as great as a generational leap where we can see basically just different graphic rendering technologies that haven't been seen before, like
Like ray
tracing.
tracing. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Like that is going to be that generational leap. And right now, I don't think that we have the hardware to implement that. Maybe you'll get a percentage of ray tracing. There will be ray tracing techniques in future games. But until you get that new hardware leap, that generational leap, you're not going to get that full 100% ray tracing that they're talking about when they're talking at like, GDC and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't think that will ever happen again. That major generation leap
You're probably
is just
right.
going to be gradual.
Yeah.
It's just going
Right.
to be, this GTA 7 is not going to run on your PS4.
Well, and then that goes right back to the argument of, okay, so if we are going to have iterative hardware, why can you not have software development running
At the same
side
time.
by side with that?
You need to.
Instead of having like the hardware race and then having the software catch up to it, you need to have them both going at the same time so that you have software coming out continually that can take advantage of the hardware, and then hardware that can take advantage of the
And
software.
that was a big miss. Like, to Mike's point, is like I felt like there was no real game. Yeah, Forza Motorsport was a fantastic looking game when the X launched, but that's a niche title. It's a racer that not everybody gets behind. And like Far Cry 5 is like the one that is like actually taking advantage of the hardware at this point. And how many months after the X has come out, and there still hasn't been a first party that's taken advantage like completely of the Xbox One X, I think is still a miss at my point. And that's where I'm coming back to the whole first party. Like, how are you not doing this at this point? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me.
Bad decisions. They made
I agree with
mistakes.
you.
I mean, Crackdown 3, in my opinion, is a bad mistake.
I agree.
That shit should have been dead in the water.
I
It
agree.
shouldn't even happen. They should have put money. The Fable Legend, they kept making mistakes, and they need to make mistakes so they can learn, and that's why they're reacting from their mistakes, and they're learning from it, because the Xbox One X, they learned from their mistake with power.
I
They
agree.
learned the features, the software. They're learning from back compat. They're learning from not doing remaster after remaster after remaster like a lot of third parties. So they're learning. It's taking time. And I think Phil's tweet was just straightforward, like, hey, this shit takes time. I'm not a magical wizard. Okay, I've been doing this. I've been doing that. Here's the facts. It takes time. I can't pull the God of War out of my ass. I can't do all this shit. Okay, it
No,
takes
he
time.
can't. And I totally agree with you. He can't make magic, and he can't. But
New
what he
studios.
could have
We got
done 4 years
343.
ago when he got in charge was start developing that and not put a tweet out now and being like, hey, it takes time, and
Well, and that's why I think that
I'm making
this
new
year-
studios now. Like,
And that's why I think that E3 this year is going to be that big make or break moment, not for Xbox, but for Phil Spencer. Like, what is it that he's going to bring to the table besides the hardware? The hardware, he's nailed it. He's knocked it out of the park. But I want to see what he's got in that basically that queue of games to come. What is it that he's been working on? What projects has he put into place, basically?
yeah, and I think it's going to be a complete letdown for me, at least, like watching E3 and I don't see any new IPs, because I was pretty let down last E3 when there was no new IPs like shown either. I mean, if you want to say like Lucky Tales and all that kind of stuff, it's not really anything new or groundbreaking. It's just a platformer. Like, I mean, I'm
But
just
it was
saying,
something we didn't have.
yeah, but not anything that's like, oh, I want to go get an Xbox One X for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
can we
Maybe
can
I
we
wanted
stop
to.
can we stop pretending like fucking Lucky Tales is like a system seller? Like
State of Decay
the
2
same
is.
thing with
Could be
State of Decay 2 is the best thing.
The
that's
best
coming for Microsoft.
currently, besides what happens at E3.
Yeah, that's I'm praying that they just kill E3. I hope they do, man. I prefer to play on. If I had to choose between consoles, I would prefer to play on an Xbox. All
See,
day.
Sobsky, like right there in the chat, he's like, if Xbox doesn't kill E3, everyone, and I mean everyone, will be worried about the brand. Like,
Yeah.
I agree with Fox.
definitely.
Phil has to clean house before making these things happen.
what is he cleaning up?
Probably
cleaning
developer
up
teams.
all that.
All the
that
developer
shit.
teams that are just.
Okay, that was like how many years ago that he canceled Scalebound and stuff?
how long-
Like, come on, like.
How long has Phil had to clear house?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like he's been there 4 years. People like he's cleaned house. He's done that already. Where is the fruits of all the shit that he's been there?
Well, now it
Like,
takes 3
we gotta
years
stop
to
damage
and now it
controlling. We gotta
takes-
stop making excuses.
But now it takes 3 years to create them. So he cleaned house and he's getting things in order. Now it's
So-
going to take.
So when the next version of the Xbox X comes out, I'll be happy with the Xbox brand. Is what we're
Maybe.
saying.
No.
Maybe
I
it was
would
just
say
Sony's
this
time,
year.
and then next it will be Xbox's time.
This year, because in my opinion, the Xbox One X is a new
this a 15
generation,
inch?
so it takes about a year.
Yeah.
And what the Xbox One X came out last year, the end of last year. So to me, this is like a beginning of a new generation, and that's the lull point. So
I mean, I hear you, man. I don't see it that way, and I'm not gonna like try and persuade you or anything like that. That's how you feel. I totally agree with you on that point. But for me, I don't think it's a new generation, and at this point, and you see it on the Sony side. Like, there's no like even like comparison at this point. Like, they are straight whooping fucking Xbox's ass in first party right now. Like, hands down, you can't even debate that fact. Like, they are fucking literally handing Microsoft their ass right now, and they need to get with it.
that Microsoft, with a blink of his eye, could buy all their shit and buy all their developers, just like Cliffy B and Epic. They could boss it. They could literally brute force all of it.
I agree with you. They could
do it.
but here's the sad truth.
Are they?
They're
gonna
not.
Do it?
That's the problem.
Okay. They're just going to just sit back and just allow this shit to happen. Like the developers, they're just going to just allow all this to happen. They're just going to be sipping margaritas and just chilling and be like, "Oh, we don't care. Oh, we don't hear the tweets. Oh, we don't care about the We Heard You console. We don't care that people are trashing our games and talking shit about our brand. Like we just don't care. We're not competitive.
I mean,
Come on."
I'm not saying they're not listening. They're just like, where's the proof? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Only time will tell.
I'm still waiting for it. I'm still waiting for Phil's promise of, like, hey, I lost Street Fighter V. Like, I'm gonna make it up to you. Where the fuck is that? Like, still we're waiting for
Killer
that.
Instinct. I mean, everybody just like Killer Instinct. Like nobody even talk about that. That's like one of the best fighting games that ever made.
Yeah, but that's not my point. I'm not
the
debating the fact that Killer Instinct isn't a fantastic fighter. It absolutely is. My point is, Phil Spencer said he was gonna make up for the lack of Street Fighter not coming to the Xbox, and this is what I'm talking about.
Ki was already better than the Street Fighter, so I don't
agree.
I don't.
I
get
love
that point.
KI better than Street
Like
Fighter.
KI, I mean, like, come on, people know that. I
And
mean,
they
that last
have
Street
been
Fighter was shit.
updating
Come
that
on.
game, and they have been giving that game a lot of attention.
My point is
so-
not what Street Fighter is or what Killer Instinct is. It's promises he made that is not being delivered on. Period.
Okay, fair enough.
Like that. That's my
No, I
point.
disagree.
You just do it just to
You're
piss me
just
off.
hating.
Whatever, Shane
You
Wolf.
are just hating.
I'm waiting for a.
Got the haterade out.
You got the Xbox with of course Halo, and then you got the Xbox 360 was Gears. I'm waiting for that for the Xbox One.
Yeah,
And
that
didn't
next big
happen for
thing.
the
like-
Xbox One. So now it's about the Xbox One X, and I'll give it a year.
I mean,
Give it this
this
year. Yeah, go ahead.
Here's that other statement. Like, hey guys, this year E3 they're gonna nail it, and then right after E3 when they don't nail it, hey guys, next year. Next year, guys.
Next year. There's no next year.
There was no
This-
next year last year because I've heard this for like the last 3 years, and I'm tired of hearing it.
Well, I mean, the last 3 years we got Gears, so I was happy with that. But
I mean, yeah,
you
but
know.
that's expected. Like,
Yeah.
I
We
want
got Gears,
new experiences.
We got Forza. We got
I love Gears,
Recore?
Halo, Forza. I love them all, but we need new things.
Recore was new.
Ori came out in the last 3 years, right?
Do you
Ori?
consider
Recore
Ori a
ca-
AAA like exclusive
Honestly,
that
yes.
like takes on God of War,
No.
Spider-Man,
Well, no, obviously.
Detroit Become Human? Like, come on,
Well,
guys.
Detroit come human. That's not.
That's a
like-
niche thing, and that's gonna be like
That's
for
not-
whoever. Like, I
Yeah,
totally
that's
agree
like
with you.
Where's
beautiful
the-
Telltale game. That's it. Like, let's
Yeah,
not.
I
God
totally
of War
agree with
is
you
a
on that.
juggernaut. Last of Us 2, a juggernaut. Horizon Zero Dawn is a juggernaut.
Mhm.
But Halo, a juggernaut.
I agree.
It still is a juggernaut.
I
Like
agree.
Halo is still worth more than practically all their IPs combined.
I don't disagree with you, but
So all they have to do is really put out a badass Halo or something.
every year.
Yeah,
Not
but
every year,
well,
of course not.
technically, shouldn't Halo actually be releasing this year if they stick to their 3-year cycle?
I don't think
but I
Halo's
don't
coming
think
out
it
this
is.
year.
I think they're
I
skipping
know.
a year.
think
So
They're
they're
not
not
going to
gonna-
make a Halo in 3
Halo's
years.
not coming
Like,
out this year. I don't think.
it doesn't make sense. I mean, maybe. Who knows?
I mean, they kind of already said it's not coming out this year.
Yeah, they
roundabout
said
kinda
it. I
way,
mean, they
but
could- they
who
could-
knows?
they could
Yeah,
change their
they could be
mind,
changing
you
their
know?
mind. What were you gonna say, Brutal?
I want something that I can sink my teeth into as an adult playing video games.
Yeah.
God of War.
I'm talking about from Microsoft, bro. I want a game besides Cartoon Destroyer City Crackdown, which who knows if that's ever going to come.
Yeah.
I want something visceral and gritty that I can like put my time into again.
State of Decay 2.
Yeah, State of Decay 2 is going to be
I
that.
was gonna say
Yeah.
that's coming out.
That's
in
my most
May.
anticipated Xbox game right
That's
now.
coming out in May.
Same for me, bro. It's my most anticipated game for Xbox right now, the State of Decay 2, and I think it's going to be great. Don't get me wrong, I'm not doubting it at all. I'm just saying, man, like it feels like Microsoft
I think it's
is
because
devolving
Sea of
their.
Thieves was such a letdown for a lot of people.
Well, I think part of it also has to do with the marketing. Like State of Decay 2, we're all excited about it. We're all adult gamers. We want to play this game, but who knows about State of Decay 2 beyond the hardcore gaming crowd? I haven't been seeing State of Decay 2 advertised. Beyond articles on.
Well,
game-
IGN did like that whole month thing.
Yeah, we're gonna.
I think Microsoft did that with IGN kind of to
And
promote
plus,
the game.
that's what Inside Xbox is going to be about
And
next
there's
month.
a-
It's
Oh, yeah,
going
that
to
whole-
be about.
Yeah, Inside Xbox is going to be all.
The most,
But maybe
the
that's
most
why
advertising I've
maybe
seen
that's
for that
why
game.
they're not saying so much about it, because they don't like. People did bitch about Sea of Thieves being shown too much. Well, they're actually saving maybe all the good stuff for Inside Xbox.
They
to
didn't
actually
fucking hold anything
give-
back on IGN's like.
Well,
coverage, like-
IGN can go stick a freaking stick up their ass. I don't
Oh girl!
I don't
Oh,
like
watch
IGN.
out, girl!
IGN is so back and forth about like everything they do that it's a joke. Like, no offense, IGN, but if
That was a
It's a
great
business.
conversation.
Come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, I
It's
just-
a business. They gotta
I
do what they gotta
understand
make
that,
those
but you
clicks.
can't
You gotta
have
pay the
people
bills.
review games who don't like the damn game in the first place. Like, that's just retarded.
Well, they don't have the staff.
Oh,
Or they have
please,
some other.
they don't have the staff.
They don't
Yeah,
have the
okay.
staff. I mean, look, a lot of
You
people,
play a video
know,
game. You don't have the staff. Please, there ain't that many games out.
even the IGN first, those are not going to sell. Those aren't going to sell consoles.
No,
Seeing a month of IGN like doing articles.
no,
about a
I
game.
agree with you there, Mike, for sure.
I mean, I hear people talking about God of War that I've never heard talk about a video game since I've known them.
I agree.
Oh shit!
And bought PS4s that I thought would never buy a PS4. I was like, holy shit!
Didn't
That's the
Brutal-
power of first parties right there.
Didn't
Hey,
Brutal
that's the
just
power
get a
you put a whole
PlayStation
bunch of
4?
money.
The
It's
power of great fucking marketing, dude.
Right.
Yeah.
God of War has been marketed and pushed so hard, and it's been done to like an expert level like degree of like precision. They've done such a good job at capitalizing on this God of War like hype.
But we
Um,
all know that Xbox has one of their biggest issues that they have is how they market their games. We all know that is
Yeah,
one of their
messaging.
biggest flaws, because like when you sit there and you watch TV shows and you're literally seeing a PlayStation God of War commercial every freaking commercial.
And then you have it followed up by dingy, dark Sean Astin walking through a museum. I'm like, what the fuck game is this?
You know what's funny?
It's
Out of
like,
everything,
it's
I
games,
still
by the
have
way.
yet to see this commercial.
Really?
Yeah, I haven't
There's
seen
like
that
a whole
commercial.
series of them, and it's
Yeah.
weird to me, and it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. The game is they're telling stories about pirates, and if
Okay, we gotta get
you
this.
know about Sea of Thieves,
Oh, okay, never mind. I've seen it. I guess it just
like, but
didn't
it's
really-
like it doesn't. There's no clear signs that it's Sea of Thieves until the very end. You're like, oh, it's Sea of Thieves starring Sean Astin.
It's a low budget thing. They're not putting that much effort and that much
Bro, why
money
not?
behind it.
Why not
Like,
put-
look at Halo. Look at Halo's marketing. Like, come on.
Yeah,
I'm
and
not
everyone
doubting that.
destroyed them
But
because they
I'm not
gave like a
somebody-
completely wrong.
I'm not hating on that. I'm just talking about like it's the first game that everyone's been so excited about. Like, why pick Sean Astin as your spokesperson?
Yeah, I mean,
You know what I'm saying? Like,
don't
why
know.
not just like push like gameplay footage down people's throats until they want to buy it?
You know what a
Or
slow
why
game
not have
takes a
actual
lot to be a title.
pirates and
well, I can tell you
like-
why they wouldn't show a bunch of gameplay because it's a fucking empty ass game and
And
it's
it was
repetitive
on
as fuck.
NDA for like the longest time.
So, I don't think they want to show that. But
My point is,
I'm not hating on CFD. Just knock it off. But the truth is the truth.
My point is, it's not that Microsoft doesn't have the ability to like put out great ads for their games, like that Halo. What's the is it Believe? Is that what it is? The
No,
the
that was
Halo.
Are you talking about the Halo 5 marketing where you thought that Locke and Master
Yeah.
Chief were going to have this huge epic battle that never happened?
Oh my god!
I like
and
those
then
radio shows that they did on that stuff, man. It was awesome.
Yeah.
I love that shit.
They
Like when
they
that
did a lot of
trailer-
misleading on the Halo stuff, like a
Dude,
lot
the
of
gameplay trailer or like the teaser trailer for Halo 3 when he's in that combat and he throws that like shield around him, dude, that dome shield around him is one of the most hyped trailers that I've ever seen for like a video game. Like
Yeah,
that
but that was
ripped
like
me.
how many years
That's
ago?
when Microsoft
Man.
flexes muscles. That's what
exactly,
happens.
and I want them to, and I guarantee you, when the next Halo gets revealed, it's going to be on the top of everybody's news feed,
Mhm.
and it's going to be getting forced down everyone's throat. Halo always does well. Halo's going to do well. The next
yeah.
one's
Well,
gonna
as
do
long
great.
as-
Here's what I need
Right.
Seth to do. I need him to pick up his Phil Spencer red phone, call him, and say, "Start being the fucking juggernaut that you are, man," because they ain't doing shit right now, bro.
Yeah, nobody's denying that Microsoft can and most likely will be a fucking, like you put it, GKB, a fucking juggernaut when it comes to like that. There's no question.
That's
Like
another one
there's
that
Microsoft first party titles that have absolutely reimagined and reforged what we know as like especially Halo. This is what's coming to mind is just like reforged what we know as like online multiplayer.
Mm-hmm.
One of the biggest staples pillars in gaming in gaming history is Master Chief and the Halo series. You can't deny that. I don't care who you are. And no one's saying that Microsoft is dead. And I know there's been a lot of negativity and like just negative like connotation with Microsoft lately. At least, I mean, from me, I know there has been.
Disclaimer I'd like to throw out. Everybody here on this panel absolutely loves Xbox and Microsoft.
Yeah.
The only reason that we're saying these things is because we know they can be better and we want them to achieve that.
we
Yeah,
care.
And
And I'm just saying what I'm
we don't
saying
fucking blow
because
smoke
I
up
know
your
they
fucking
will.
ass either. Like, I'm not gonna
They
do
will. I could blow the smoke. They will. Believe.
You a dirty
Believe.
it.
Come
Oh
on,
my
Phil
gosh.
knows. Come on, he knows. He knows.
I think he does, man. He needs to get ahead of the
That's
trends
what I'm
instead of
saying,
behind them.
bro. He's slow rolling it, bro. And I hope
Yeah,
every night
if
I
he
go to
is
bed,
slow burning it,
I-
like brutal, like is he waiting for the next Xbox to come out? Because I guarantee you, PS5 is right around the fucking
Yeah,
corner.
but he kept claiming that the Xbox One X was his baby. Like that was like his golden.
I'm not saying like the Xbox One X is. I think that's going to be the base console like going forward, and like all the games that are going to be on the new one
I'm
are going
just
to be on
saying
this
though,
one.
like
but,
that console was supposed to be, you know, what he started.
but is the
since he
slow
started working
burn
there.
going to be the next Xbox though? Because like I said, PS5 comes out. Let's say half of those fucking specs are correct, and they put out like an 8 teraflop GPU, 8 core fucking whatever that can do whatever the fuck it wants to do. Like, you cannot afford to be behind in the power narrative anymore. And yeah, as much as the Xbox One X is and how great it is, it's not going to compare to that thing.
Wait, GKB. Does
Yeah.
power matter or games matter?
Games matter.
Okay, so when
But here's the
PS5 comes
problem.
out, that's when Xbox is going to be releasing their shit. Just like when the Xbox One came out, when their lineup was far superior than the PlayStation's lineup. Oh, PlayStation had the power.
Okay,
That's what
here's
they
the
have.
thing.
What
Like,
they need to come out a year before the competition, and then they need to have those exclusives, and then that ends the argument.
I agree
So-
with you,
Right,
but
you
here's the
can
problem.
tell.
Like, if the PS5 comes out a year before and has The Last of Us 2 and it's fucking graphically superior than every fucking thing else out there and it's a fantastic game, I'm sorry, it's fucking game over again. Like, they're
We're-
behind the 8 ball again. They can't afford to do that.
Well, it's not even
Yeah,
just
The
that.
Last
We
of Us
we
2
know
doesn't
that
come out
there's
on
a few
PS5.
games that are actually in the lineup. If they are actually bringing out the PlayStation 5, we know that there's Death Stranding. As much as we don't know what the hell that damn game is about, it's still going to be outstanding because of what they're doing with
Using
it. So
babies.
it's still they still have
power.
that one. They still have The Last of Us 2. They still have what's that other one that they've been working on that isn't
The zombie game.
Days Gone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Days Gone.
2019.
Like that's another one that's
2019.
it's being held. So the question is, why are they holding these? And we've seen that game. We've seen gameplay from.
Well, I think Days
game.
Gone is like, I'm not going to put it against Red Dead, and they're fucking pushing that back to next year.
I don't know. I still think that they could be possibly hold like.
I mean,
Why not release 3 big
me
titles?
personally, I think it's coming out. I think the PS5 is coming out at the end of 2019.
I'm just saying though,
I don't
why
believe
not
the 2020
release 3
bullshit.
big titles with the PlayStation 5? Like that would be a huge move.
Oh, I don't disagree. But that's my point. Is like you cannot afford to be behind like that
No.
again. Like
Especially
it's
with,
literally
like-
gonna fucking just steamroll.
Especially
Xbox.
like one of the biggest titles
bro.
everybody has been waiting for and talking about, and now it's kind of like, does anyone really care? Which is Crackdown 3. Like there's still literally, and there's a lot of people that are
Nobody
just
cares about
spectating
that
that it's
game
actually, you know, it's canceled. Like nobody's really even, and that would have been one of Xbox's big hitters if they
It's
would have
gonna be
actually
canceled.
focused.
See, that's the
Because
saddest part.
they hear the criticism. They got the same damn eyes. They know. When we seen Crackdown 3, we know it was shit. We looked at it.
Yeah.
But the
I didn't
thing-
think it was
the-
shit at
the
all. Like I
game-
don't agree with that at all.
The
They keep
game
delaying it.
doesn't need
They
to look
know.
graphically good though.
No,
That's
they're
the
delaying
thing.
it because
I'm
they're
not talking
too
about
busy.
graphics. I'm talking about the gameplay, the message, the game, the feeling, the story, the impact. That's what I'm talking about.
We don't know
Crackdown
anything
3
of the
wasn't
story
half-
or anything else on that game
They've
because we've
only-
only
yeah.
seen gameplay and graphics. And the only reason they delayed it, and fucking Shannon Loftus came out and said it, we're gonna go rework the fucking graphics. Why? Because fucking people were complaining about it,
Because
and that
they-
goes
yeah.
back to Microsoft not knowing their fucking IPs and what's important about their IPs. You don't
Yeah,
buy
like a
Crackdown
Conquer.
because of the fucking graphics. You buy it because of the fucking gameplay. Period.
You
Like,
get to
why
go
are we even talking about
destroy
this?
worlds. That is what everybody is waiting for, to be the destruction of the game. They're not looking at it for the graphics.
I agree to max power. Like, if you cancel Crackdown 3, wait till that fucking whirlwind of fucking shit comes down
Can we
on
say
you.
Shannon was being dishonest about why that happened? I mean,
I mean,
No,
you gotta
I-
take them at their word. I don't know, man. Like, I mean,
Truthfully,
I mean, it's a
everything
texture
has been
pack.
about graphics, so I don't think it is. I think they're literally trying to make it look good, but still be able to do all the cloud computing and everything.
regardless
else.
of what they do at this
They're
point,
over-
like their messaging, they fucking destroyed that IP. Like they, there's nothing that it's gonna do well. It's not. It's gonna come out and fucking
They
flop
already
because of
destroyed
Microsoft.
the IP of Crackdown when they had to force people to get it because of a Halo beta. They already destroyed the IP then. Where it's like, hey, you could buy one and get shit free.
Oh,
Here you
gosh.
go. I
So,
mean, yeah, okay.
Newbie,
Hey, the first Crackdown was a good game though.
Oh, yeah, it was a good game, but yeah, it was definitely not a system seller. Like, come on. And then
So-
2 was utter trash.
They can't
So-
cancel Crackdown
Yeah,
3.
I agree.
So Newbie says it's not canceled. Phil Spencer already said the team is hard at work. On
Oh, they
last
cannot
month.
cancel it at this
The
point,
thing
man.
is,
They would get a
they've
shitstorm if they cancel that fucking game.
but
now.
the thing is that they have been saying they've been hard at work on it for the last 2 years. So
Yeah, at this point they gotta
sorry,
release the game.
Newbie, like
And
yes,
now.
he keeps saying it, but at the same time, we've been hearing
What's up, Shogun?
that. So
Let's go ahead and get to what's out now because it's like 9:30 and we haven't even time yet.
yeah, so much for
Yo, this is a great conversation. I don't want to stop it. I don't want to stop it. All right, guys, let's go ahead and run the intro.
Bang, boom, kapow, it's what's out now. Are those really the lyrics?
Don't question my genius.
My bad, dude. It's too
All right,
loud,
Mike,
bro.
what you got going on? What's that now?
Hey everybody, welcome to another week of What's Out Now. And unfortunately this week I'm not going to be giving any real descriptions to the games because surprisingly for the middle of April, it's a busy week for game
Really?
releases. So let's go back to Tuesday, April 10th, where on the PC, the PS4, and the Xbox One, we got the release of Extinction. I was actually really excited about this game last year at E3 and it kind of slid under the radar. I didn't even know it came out until I was looking up the game releases today. So I definitely want to check that out. I don't even remember seeing any reviews for it. But that same day for the PC, the PS4, the Xbox One, and the Switch, we also got a game called Masters of Anima. For the PC, just the PS4 and the Xbox One, we got Owlboy. For the PS4, we got Call of Duty World War II, the War Machine DLC. That's a 30-day exclusive. It'll be coming to Xbox next month. For the PC, the PS4, and the Switch, we got a game called Super Daryl Deluxe. And on the PS4, we saw the release of Project Nimbus Code Mirai. Then on Wednesday, the 11th of April, for the PC, coming to Steam Early Access, Double Kick Heroes. That same day for the PC, the Xbox One, and the Switch, we got a game called Boom Slinger. And we were talking about it earlier. We've all been playing it this week on the Xbox One. We got Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice finally on that system. Then on Thursday, the 12th of April, for the PC, Android, and iOS, we got a game called Vandals. On PC, we got Dead in Vinland. Then on PC and mobile, which I don't know why they define that as mobile instead of Android and iOS like they did the last one, we saw Hearthstone, the Witchwood, come out. And on the PC, also into Steam Early Access, a game called Spy Party. And that, everyone, is the previous week's worth of releases, and that's what's out now.
Nice. Sweet. Oh, sweet.
So, did anybody play Extinction?
I have not. I've been like
I heard
seeing
was
it,
bad.
and I haven't, played it. Was it bad? People are saying it's
I
bad.
heard, yeah.
You heard it was bad? Maybe that's why it came out under the radar because.
They're like, I don't want to talk about this.
Yeah.
All right, so everybody, you heard it here first. Extinction may be worth a pass.
Nice. Face Bunny, yeah, we'll talk about that in a second on your question there. I just want to hit one more Xbox thing because I thought it was pretty cool because I'm a big fucking Halo fan. So eat it, people. So the Halo guys over there at 343 put out a posting for a job, and it says the ideal candidate will have a passion for game graphics and for directing a team, love getting their hands dirty, working directly with content teams while coding incredible systems. You will drive graphical innovation and produce amazing system and visuals for the entire future FPS Halo experience. And if stunning 60 hertz 4K graphics get you excited, this is the right job for you. So, are we going to get a new Halo in 4K 60 FPS?
For sure, dog.
Well, I was kind of talking about this earlier when we were talking about the whole difference between 1080p and 4K, and that's the big buzzword.
Yeah.
The next Halo targeting 60 FPS and 4K, it really should be with the hardware that we have now.
Yeah.
But I'm not as excited
Gears is doing
for 4K as I am for more graphical enhancements.
Agreed.
So, I mean, Halo 5 is 60 FPS and 4K. So that doesn't give me a whole lot of faith in what they're trying to achieve here with the next Halo, but I believe.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Well played, Mike.
I think all Halo games, to me, look really, stunning because I just love that world, and I think they just push, the graphics as much as they can in that world. I mean, everybody's like, oh, it looks like Halo, Yeah, no shit, because it's fucking Halo. It's supposed to look like Halo. What the fuck is it supposed to look like? I never understood that argument.
For the first 5 games.
I just never understand that, argument. It's just so dumb. But yeah, for me too, that's the other thing with the iterative consoles. I get you're trying to push 4K and all that kind of stuff, but for people that don't really care about that, why are we not getting the 1080p 60, a 1440p mode, or enhanced modes and all these? I mean, we see them on a couple games, but I think at this point, they should be on all games. I mean, I don't know. I'd rather see 1080p 60 and all these other things and pushing graphics besides resolution. I agree with Mike's point on that. And I think definitely it's going to be 4K 60.
You know why, bro? It's because everyone wants to be able to say that it's running in 4K.
Yeah, it's the new buzzword and everything.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly what I was going to say next. It's a fucking buzzword, dude.
Yep.
I guarantee you could show to 80% of the people that are hyping 4K for Xbox, you could show them a 1080 60 and a 4K 30 and be like, damn, that looks really fucking good, man.
Absolutely.
And it's 1080 the whole time.
Yeah.
We've said it a million times, sort of blue in the face. The difference between 4K and 1080 is
just a crisper image at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, and to the average person, man, you're not seeing a huge difference in it.
Yeah.
If anything, what people are seeing and they're misconstruing for 4K upgrades is the HDR, which is the biggest, in my opinion, the biggest visually.
I'm right there with you. HDR
striking.
is better than 4K.
Yeah, I think that's the most visually striking difference between this versus last gen console, if you want to call it that. HDR makes a much bigger difference, in my opinion. But
it's unfortunate that they don't have any 1080p TVs that have HDR. If you want to get the HDR,
you got to get the 4K.
4K TV, and if I bought a 4K TV, I want my games to be in 4K. So it's kind of counterintuitive to the
Yeah, I mean that's the TV market too. You know, they're pushing the bigger resolutions and stuff up too. Like they don't really care about 1080p and all that kind of stuff anymore too.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Another thing that I don't think a lot of people talk about with 4K is the distance, which is a big issue.
Distance
Based off the size of the 4K TV, a certain distance, I think the average consumer does not know this. They would buy a 4K TV, a 55-inch, and then it would sit fucking 20 feet from the TV. You're not seeing your resolution there. You have to be a lot closer. If you got a 55, you got to be at least 6 feet from the screen to get the proper resolution. If you sit any further from certain sizes, you might as well get a 1080p.
Yeah, which a lot of the public design. But I don't live in a mansion. I don't have 20 feet between my TV and where I sit. But for those people that do have 20 feet of clearance between their TV and where their sofa is at, congratulations to you. You have achieved things.
Achievement unlocked.
Well, some people have the TV and then it's set up across the kitchen or something, or they have it's different layouts.
No, that's a fair point, man. That's a fair point.
And 6 feet is actually really close. Even in my place, I had to move it.
I don't know about you.
I know. I think this is about 6 feet right now. I think
I have to ride a Segway from my couch to my TV just so I can make it there in an acceptable amount of time.
In my Beverly Hills mansion, I have a butler change the
Am I really doing a podcast with a bunch of poor people? Ew.
Bunch of casuals. Yeah, you plebs.
Casuals. You mean to tell me that you guys don't ride mopeds through your house to get gross?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I totally agree. Distance is definitely a big factor there, Sith, for sure. I mean, I don't have 20 feet, but that's if you do, man, more power to you.
If it's past, they have the demographics, like Artings or whatever.
Yeah, I get what you're
going. It's 6 feet. I had to move my, when I had it in my living room, I had to move it closer because I was like, okay, holy shit.
So Sith's got the mansion. Awesome.
No, it's like a condo. No, but how I had it set up, I had to move it closer, and then it's kind of and I got a table, so it's yeah.
Oh, that was a great conversation, man. All right, sweet. I have a bunch of other topics, but I'm not gonna get into them because it's getting late. So, let's go with bunnies or face bunnies or Bunky face 23 Bunky. I don't even know how to pronounce that, bro. So I'm sorry if I'm
What are you doing, bro?
I don't know.
It's Burger King in New York. What
are you trying to say, bro?
I don't even know what it means. I don't care. How about that? Screw you guys.
23.
Eat it,
Brooklyn,
bro.
New York. Stand up, son.
But he was asking what do we think about the God of War reviews? I mean, I think my whole stance on reviews in general is I don't think anything deserves a perfect score. I don't think anything's perfect. Yeah, you want to get that argument about masterpiece and all that other bullshit. Get the fuck out of here. A 10 out of 10, and anybody you go fucking ask on the street is a perfect score. I don't care what you want to say about masterpiece. I don't think anything deserves a 10 out of 10 because there's always some kind of problems. I think God of War is going to be a fantastic game. I think people are going to enjoy the fuck out of it. And I'd just like to see first party on Xbox do some good shit too.
I think the big issue are the review scores inflated because of the lack of epic single player experiences that have come out in the past couple of years.
Yeah, we're kind of thirsty for that. We got all this bubblegum, multiplayer loot box, little Johnny's playing games out here. It's really hard to have market. It's very expensive too for games like God of War and stuff that have a little bit deeper substance, so
But
is it inflated though, Mike, or is it just because Xbox just hasn't been getting those scores and Sony has, and it just seems that way, or is it really inflated? I don't know. Reviews are subjective to that person. If they enjoy the shit, I can't really argue their opinion on that or their score on that because they just enjoyed it that much.
That is where my biggest thing comes. When it comes to any form of review, it is based on someone's opinion. So the problem I have when people say, oh, it's a 10 out of 10 or it's an 8 out of 10 or it's a 7 out of 10, I don't believe that it's fair because people go to that thinking that this is more than one review.
Yeah.
but it's not. It's usually based on one particular person who, for all you know, IGN has people who don't even like that style of game review a game. So then, of course, they're going to have issues with it because of the fact that they don't like it. So it's just, when it comes to reviews, I think they're utterly useless. I think everybody should give their own opinions on a game and, you know, tell your friends, just give an opinion. I don't think reviews need to be.
I think I think reviews are broken. Period. I think you need to take this whole scoring system out, write your review, and I think review should just be used to gauge if you're interested in the game or not the end all.
It should be your impressions.
Anything.
It shouldn't be a review of
That's
the game.
me.
It should be an impressions of the game, of what you felt personally about a game.
Max power. That's funny, bro.
I think the big thing is that if you find a reviewer in the media that you find is in tune with the types of games that you like, then you can generally trust their reviews. But there are so many different people out there that have different opinions about games. It's hard to trust a review because how many games have come out that have had a 6 out of 10 or a 7 out of 10 that have been one of the best games you've ever played? I mean, there have been plenty of games
because you pressed A too many times.
Right.
That's just stupid. Guy.
Of course, there's always that review.
Well, it's still
we'll never forget about
still
that.
a fact. Like
Yeah.
Mad Max, because there was too much sand. Like that's the thing though. People read those thinking that, oh my god, so these people are completely right. Like we know, yes, we go to our friends, but the casual gamers that are looking to buy a game, they go to these reviews. They look at these because they assume that these people know exactly what they're talking about and that they're professionals when they're not. They're literally just basing their opinions on a game, whether they enjoyed the experience or not, and giving it a review. And I think review has been taken out of context so badly that it just shouldn't really be used anymore.
I've been thinking about this a lot the past week because God of War has been getting phenomenal reviews, and I feel that it is going to be a phenomenal game. I don't think that the reviews are not justified.
I don't think it's a 10 out of 10 though.
What I don't understand is that in this current generation that we're in right now, with digital distribution being set up the way that it is, why don't we have game demos? I mean, I remember getting
I know, man,
and things like that, and getting demo disc all the time. I could generate my own review, get my own opinion about the game by playing a demo, even if that demo is only 15 minutes worth of gameplay. I get an idea on whether I want to keep playing this game or not. With digital distribution, every game should have like a half-hour demo. I don't see that there's any reason why that can't be feasible. And the only thing I can think of is because the gaming media doesn't want that to happen, because once that occurs, when every game gets that half-hour or hour-long demo, then the media is going to be pointless. There's not going to be any need for reviews anymore.
I think the other part of that, I think you're correct as far as like the game media doesn't want that to happen, but I also think a lot of the game developers don't want that to happen either. Like I think they want to control the narrative and all that kind of stuff, and if they're releasing like a demo that doesn't like live up to their final game or just has issues, like it hurts sales. So I think that's why it went away. Like we live in like the social media era. We're back like when we used to get the demo disc. It really got magazines and stuff and read all that kind of stuff. Where now it's so instantaneous to get whatever information you need. Like they're just holding on to it until it releases these days.
And people can sometimes pay a little extra money or a little bit of gifts here and there, and reviewers tend to write what they want them to write and not what their actual
I'm not saying that's not
are.
a thing. That's definitely a thing for sure.
You get the ultimate edition, you pay 4 days earlier. I think demos are still around. They're called betas. And
That's true.
If you call Sea of Thieves a full game, you're wrong. It's a damn demo.
Agreed.
And also on top of that, it costs money to make a little sliver piece for the public to consume. It costs money. It costs man hours to cut a certain portion out, edit, cut, copy, paste, all that stuff. So it costs money. And then also...
No. I'm talking about like downloading the full version of the game and having a 30-minute timer where it cuts you off.
Oh, like on Steam where you could purchase a game.
Or EA Access, where you're given so much time, or you're given like what was it? Unraveled. You got like
hours?
the first
10
like
hours. Like, yeah, it does a pretty good thing.
No, Unravel only gave you like the first. You're only allowed like the first.
I mean, either way, it's
board,
like
but.
And then on the other thing about the review thing, GKB, the 10 out of 10 thing. Okay, I understand like nothing's perfect, but it's a scale where, okay, what is the best thing to perfect? And I think 10 out of 10 is very valid. It's a masterpiece. If you think of any other masterpieces, of course it has flaws. But it's like at the best it could possibly be at that time. Like one of the best things
I
you
agree.
actually played at that time. Like Halo, the first one, is a masterpiece. It was the best thing that you could play at that time in that genre. It's a masterpiece. So the 10 out
My
of 10 is valid. I know it's like
I don't disagree with your opinion, man. If you think it's valid, that's completely great. Like, my only thing is, like, when you go see the Mona Lisa, there's not a 10 out of 10 above it, right? It's your perception of what you think a masterpiece looks like. And that's my point is, like, if you take the scores away, let people read the review, and if you think it's a masterpiece at that point, great. But when people go in and they just look at the score and it's a 10 out of 10, they're not looking at it's a masterpiece like the Mona Lisa is a masterpiece, and even though it still has flaws technically from a painting perspective, but they're looking at it as it's a perfect score is my problem.
They
with it.
don't read it; they just see a number.
well, when I seen Halo as like what I think I got it the same year. I'm not sure the exact time, but when I got it and I went to GameStop and I was like, "What game should I get? What's the next game?" Because I forgot what the hell. I beat Jet Set Radio and the GT thing. You know, I really like cars and stuff. Had a steering wheel and stuff. And he was like, "Oh, you really have to try this game." And then I looked at the cover. I'm like, "Oh, this is cool. This kind of remind me of Half-Life." I played that on
Mhm.
PC on my uncle's computer. I'm like, "Okay, this look kind of interesting." Looking at the back, and then I seen Game of the Year. I seen that stamp on. I'm like, "Shit, this is a Game of the Year." Wow. And then I played it and I'm like, holy shit, this is the damn Game of the Year. It is confirmed. When you see reviews like, oh, let me review a Lamborghini, and it's like, oh, it's one of the fastest and smoothest rides you will ever, and then you drive a Corolla or a damn
Mhm.
Pinto, and you're like, oh, okay. The reviews, it matters. I understand, I'm not saying it doesn't matter,
No, yeah.
but it shows like, how would I say, review. It's like other people tried it out and it's like, all right, maybe this is good, you know.
Yeah, I'm
Like
not
other
trying to
people,
like invalidate like anybody like says that, like, if they played it at the time and they thought it was like a perfect masterpiece, 10 out of 10, like I'm cool with that. Like, it's their subjective opinion on that game. Like, I'm not gonna fault.
but
fault.
my question for you, GKB, is it any 10 out of 10s in your opinion? Like anything that was completely blew you away that you was like, all right,
From
this is the highest score ever I could give this for this time.
Yeah, like for me personally, on a when I look at a game and I review, because I reviewed games on this channel too, I don't give anything a 10 out of 10 because there are technical flaws, there are story flaws, there's pacing issues, all that kind of stuff. I don't think, and for me, when I look at a 10 out of 10, and we never score games when we reviewed,
No.
we did discussions and all that kind of stuff and get different point of views. Like, I think that's a better way to me, and I don't give anything a score. For that simple reason, because people would just be like, "Oh, well, he gave it an 8 out of 10. That's a good game," or he gave it a
But-
10 out of
Well,
10.
no example is when you see a game take all of the scores from Game Informer, from IGN, from all these places, and they literally put it in a banner next to their name. You're going to look at that over a game that just released, who may not have actually had, the time or anything from IGN who reviewed it, or from, Game Informer who didn't review it. You're going to take the game that actually has all of those scores because, again, you're just looking at numbers. And that's where the biggest issue comes into because, again, half the time those are only reviewed by one person. One person gives that score, and that is where the biggest issue comes in. Because games aren't getting the attention they deserve because people look at numbers.
Well, yeah, I get that. And to what GKB was talking about well, all y'all was saying like about the scores. You kind of give a score when you say a game is good, a game is bad. That's a thumbs up. That's a thumbs down. It's Julius Caesar. I'm not sure. That's in the middle. So you're already giving a score in a retrospect, even though you're not saying, oh, this is $100 billion out of the 2 trillion, or this is a 50 out of the blah. If it's good, it's good. If it's bad, it's bad. That's the simplest thing. No one's saying like, if everyone says this game is bad, this game is bad. You talk to 100 people, oh, it's bad, it's bad. The likelihood of it being bad is extremely high.
I agree.
Based off other people going over it. So by a game that's like getting high scores and all this stuff, it's like, hold up, it's something's here. If people are being honest and truthful, for the most part, most of the time people are some ways. So that's what I'm
No, yeah, I totally get what you're saying. Like, as far as like if we say a game's good, yeah, that totally is a score. But I think the point of that is like you have to get through the whole context of what we're talking about before you get to where we say it's
But
good
people
or not.
don't want that sometimes. Like with God of War, I hear the score. I don't want to know anything. Like I already seen a trailer. If I seen a trailer and I seen a little bit of the gameplay they were showing, I could evaluate. All right, I'm spending $60. I don't need to learn anything else on it. I don't need it. What I seen already, I'm like, okay, this is good.
Yeah,
enough.
and that's fine. Like,
All right.
there's other people out there that don't need like reviews and all that kind of stuff. They go based on what they see, and that's perfectly fine too. Like, I'm not debating that fact. I'm just saying on the fact of if somebody says a 10 out of 10, and you're looking at just an average person, they don't know that means just masterpiece and there's flaws with the game.
Well,
They're saying like,
then,
good.
I was just gonna say that we're talking about the whole like 10 out of 10s and all the high scores that the games have been getting, but you can't dismiss the fact that we've been saying over and over again, reviews are subjective. It's all based off of the reviewer itself. If a game that's been getting 9 out of 10s, 9.5, and 10 out of 10s comes out, and there's one review that has, say, like an 8.5 out of 10, and it's not over a 9, the hate that reviewer gets is completely unjustified.
Agreed.
That reviewer saw flaws that other reviewers didn't see based off of his personal experience or her personal experience, and there's no reason for people to jump on that person because they didn't give it the score that they wanted. So, as much as we want to say like the 10 out of 10s, like, they're more marketing and gimmicky and stuff like that, you can't throw that out the window and dismiss the scores that don't get the review score that people want to see. And I think we've seen a bit of that with God of War 2.
Absolutely.
I think it was GKB, which is confusing there.
Yeah,
GKB was on JKB's podcast last Saturday talking about God of War and stuff like that. And JKB had an amazing review for God of War, which really convinced me that I wanted to get this game. And he did not give it a 10 out of 10. He gave it an 8.5 out of 10. And I felt it was entirely justified based off of what he discussed. He gave valid reasons, but if you look at the comments in there, it was all like, oh, you're such a hater, blah, blah, blah. This game's a 10 out of 10 easily and stuff like that. So there's the overinflated review, and then there's the legitimate review that gets hate because people think it deserves something better.
Yeah. I won't be as PC as Mike is like right now. Like if you're one of those dudes that say you need to die and all that shit based on a fucking review, you need to be dragged out in the street and fucking dealt with like real fucking severely.
Yeah,
Oh,
bro.
God.
Straight evisceration.
Yeah.
Like I will
It's just comments over the internet. You
personally
know?
sleep inside your skin. These all these motherfuckers, bro. They deserve like to be like the lowest of the low.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like
I'm not PC
I don't
when
even
it
want
comes
to get
to that
started
shit,
on that
dude.
because it's gonna get me
Yeah.
way too upset.
It's gonna get me
I'm like
wound
5 beers in. All these
It's
these
all good.
beers, these craft beers, and I don't really want to. I don't want to wake up tomorrow and be like, damn, why'd you say that, bro?
Yeah,
It's all good.
it is messed up, and it is what it is. I'm not like promoting like, hey, if someone's disagreeing with you, do all this other crazy shit. I'm not,
Oh no, and I wasn't saying you were. I just wanted to bring up that point that there's one end of the spectrum and then there's the other that people like just jump on.
Oh, yeah,
and
absolutely.
It's ridiculous
But
because
here, I'm going to go to the farther spectrum here, and if we're saying reviews is subjective and all this, most people in the world will not play God of War. Most people in the world don't even know what God of War is. So we're going on the ultimate spectrum. Most people will give God of War a 0.
no, I mean, and that's a good point because what is it? What is a game that's successful? A game that sells 5 million copies? A game that sells 10 million copies?
Yeah.
When you look at the population of the Earth, that's
like
a
niche.
very, very small percentage.
Yeah.
All games are sold to a small percentage of the overall population. So, to be so vehemently adamant about whether this game deserves a 10, a 9, or an 8.5 is ridiculous because it all comes down to what do you feel the game earned, not what do you
I agree.
want the game to earn.
To Shogun, like the highest if I actually gave scores for games, which I don't, yeah, it'd probably be like a 9, 9.5, yeah, in that range if I did. That's just me, but I don't give scores, so I just rant about the game, whether it's good or not. And that's about it. All right, guys, so we're pretty much at the end of the show here. Let all these cool people shout out what they got going on. Let's just go ahead and start with Sith. What you got going on, bro? You're killing it tonight, bro.
Oh,
I like that you're like fighting back and all that kind of stuff, man. It's good shit.
Damn.
not much really. My channel, Sith Lord Mike Rich, Twitter, the only Mike Rich, Sith Lord Mike Rich. Steam, Sith Lord Mike Rich, PSN, Sith Lord Mike Rich. I am Sith Lord Mike Rich. Everything.
What happened to like Creator of Flames or whatever you?
Yeah,
Oh,
man.
it's just that's too long. My videos,
Oh,
I
bro.
might do it, but
They
you
used,
know.
they used to get me a little hot and bothered. I'm just saying now. I used to look forward to that, but
I bring it back next episode.
all right, thank you.
All right.
Nice. Bruno, what you got going on, man?
Same old shit, dude. You know, man. We got Mixer going on. You can go check out my channel at GBO_brutal. Twitter's the same. If you forget either one, they're on each other. So you go to my Twitter, see my Mixer, go to my Mixer, see my Twitter. I'm going to be doing a little stream today after the show. So if you guys want to come by the channel and check it out, that would be fantastic. I can promise you that it will be entertaining at the very least. Had a great show tonight, guys. I feel like our podcast gets better and better every week. And whether that's a biased opinion or not, I fucking love our podcast, fam, dude.
Yeah, it's good times, bro. We're starting to get into the groove. It's good.
Starting? I've been doing this shit for a minute now, baby. Come on, man.
Well, you know, when we bring new people in, we gotta like meld together, and like Sith's like just killing it tonight. He's been fucking on fire tonight, so that's awesome.
Been killing it since the day he came on.
Stop.
Dude. He was quiet.
Come on.
Magic Mike, what you got going on, dude?
Well, speaking of biased opinions, I give this podcast a 10 out of 10.
Oh, damn.
You damn right. You damn right. You damn right.
Bias, fake news.
Seriously, so biased, so fake. But in all honesty, you can always find me on Twitter at MagicMike83, Xbox Live MagicMike83, and now PSN Magic_Mike83 because somebody else had Magic Mike83. I'll hunt you down.
Nice.
Wow. I
She
joined the
wolf.
hunt too. That's
You
my
awake
stuff.
over there?
Yeah, I'm just reading chat.
What you got going on, She-Wolf?
You can find me on Mixer, XSheWolfX with a U. No. Same as Twitter. I'm streaming Monday to Friday. It's really about the jest
I
of.
have a feeling GKB is going to get hit with a frying pan after the show, I think.
It's about the jest I have going on.
She's got this poopy face on right now. She's going to kick my ass after the show.
Joe, if I hope you fuck him up.
What's up, everybody? I'm GKB. Thank you so much. Make sure you go.
Please don't hurt him.
She's definitely gonna hurt me. Make sure you give Xbox Addict a shout out and all that kind of stuff, man. Let them know you're thinking about them and all that kind of stuff. Appreciate the community. You guys are fantastic. Working on another Big Potato X video, so that should be coming out this week sometime. Good times. Love this show. Love the crew. Love all you great people out there. Thank you so much, and we will see you next time. Have a good one.
Peace.
All right.